weekday paradise, and put up a party in the land. From the farmer, put away that DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, leave me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always...
Seb, you've been involved with this Winterfest. What's it all about?
I suppose it's about kind of celebrating all the transition-related things going on in Stroud, right, and around Stroud, and the different areas of sort of building resilience to peak oil and climate change.
To get out into the public and say, this is what we do, come along and join us, maybe sign up to some of the events that are going to come up. So we've got things like open homes, open gardens, trips for exchanging gear, we've got skills gain, and the youth group, which is now called Jump, and the Heart and Soul group will be over there. And then we've got other things in the community like the Gloucestershire, what's that called? The Gloucestershire, yeah, well that one, and Stroud Community Agriculture, and Stroudco, and Down to Us. So it's a chance for the community to get together and say, this is what we do, come and join us.
Setting up the last bit of the cinema, just needs some sound.
And what's being shown on the cinema?
So the fabulous Philip has made some films. This is one from the Edinburgh Local Gardens.
Amanda, just tell me what your stall's about in this Transition Winterfest.
Hi, Down to Earth Cooperative is all about food sustainability in the local area. So what we aim to do is to try and increase access to and availability of organic local food. So what I've got here today is some of the products that myself and others within the cooperative have grown. So we've got, over in the corner there, star feature, we've got some dried beans. We've got 4 different types of dried beans. We've got flageolets, borlottis and haricots, and the other one I can't remember the name of now, I think they're a pea bean. We've got some pumpkins and winter squash and onions, locally grown bay leaves, chilli peppers, dried chilli peppers and foraged walnuts. And Jerusalem artichokes, a good staple in the winter. And we've got some dried fruit. We've got a dehydrator, and we've done some dried apple rings, and we've done some dried pears, we've done dried figs. We've now got some to taste today. We've got some dried apple leathers, fruit leathers, and we've got some apple and black grape leathers, all grown in Stroud. So the idea is to increase the range of locally produced food. Apple rings in Stroud are actually brought in from China, which is bizarre. So what did you think of that fruit leather?
I thought it was really, really nice.
It was very... the black grape one, that's my favourite.
Oh, it's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Right, well, this year in July we had our first, and first for the country, edible open gardens. Basically private gardens and allotments, both large and small, opened, and it was so popular we've had inquiries of possibly up to 50 gardens this coming year, 2012, in July. And we're going to do it again.
Fantastic. Tell us a bit about the Jump project. What's it trying to do?
It's trying to help youth to get interested and to maintain that interest in growing food, low carbon activities and fun.
It's a youth group designed for young people in the Stroud area, sort of between 13 and 18-ish, give and take a bit.
Basically, I see Jump as well, it's a social youth group basically, and we're trying to basically teach what's going on, raise awareness of what's going on with the climate and everything, but in an exciting way, not boring. We're doing this by drawing them together. We're doing activities, possibly such as willow weaving, sand making, bushcraft skills. We've got another lady that can possibly teach foraging, so we go out and do a bit of foraging, come back, eat things that we foraged.
So this is about the reality of climate change and declining oil supplies, and you as youth understanding those issues and getting some of the skills that you're going to need in the future.
Definitely, yes, that is
brilliant.
That basically.
Our Stroud Pound has now been going for over 2 years, and it's designed for the whole of the Stroud district. We've got about 60 or so traders at the moment and nearly 200 members, and there is Stroud Pounds are circulating fairly well. We're trying to give it another push now so that we can get a lot more traders and a lot more consumers involved. The idea is that It's a way of supporting the local economy by circulating money locally, because normally the sterling would be going back into the international banking system, and this way we can keep it local. And of course people will say, well, I spend my sterling locally, why do I need a local currency? But actually, if you think about it, you're spending the money locally, but then you don't know what happens after you've spent it. It can go anywhere. Whereas if you're using a Stroud pound, you know that the next person will also have to spend it locally, either for their personal expenses or via the shop, whatever they need.
And I've chosen some stories that are aimed primarily at adults, and I've got a couple of stories that have a climate theme and a couple of stories that have an organic farming theme. Their happiness to see that their forest home had been saved, but the happiest of them all was that little brightly coloured parrot.
Yay! Fantastic room. Can you tell us what's going on in this room?
Oh, well, there's lots of things to join in with. Sam here, he's just made a wish. Granny's helped him write it, and now he's gonna weed. Grandma, sorry. Yeah. There we are. Do you want to have a go at this? Look, you go behind one.
Can you do that?
And in the future, when we won't be able to get cheap clothes from abroad because the oil will be running out, we need to be more self-sufficient. And one of the things we do is make do and mend, is revamping the clothes we've got, changing them in some way, embellishing them, or making them into strips and weaving them into something different, or rag rugging, something like that, or a plique. So the waistcoat that Rose is wearing is all a plique.
And I think you actually have a fashion show once a year, is that right? Can you tell us a bit about that?
We had a fashion show in spring.
Yes.
Well, it's basically making clothes out of what other people would think is rubbish. But one man's rubbish is another man's treasure, isn't it? Or woman's. Yes.
Or woman's.
So we meet about once a fortnight, and sometimes during the day, sometimes in the evenings, and we meet in somebody's house, and we meet and we bring something to mend, something to knit, something to sew, ideas. If we've got something that we love but it needs something, needs something, we bring it along. What can I do with this? And you get all these fantastic ideas. You put a bit of piping around the collar, or something in the pocket, or a flower, or
fantastic. Because Transition Stroud's about community, and
it really brings the community. We'd like more men to come along. We have had men come to our group.
Hi Paul and hi Becky. I see you've got eco-renovations open home. What's all that about?
Okay, it's about improving your home to make it more energy efficient. Some people have done work on insulation of their houses, some are adding renewables to your house, solar hot water systems, solar electric systems onto the houses, and the idea is that people do these improvements to their homes and then show them off to other people, and the idea is to encourage other people to also make improvements to their homes. If you can make your home far more efficient, well insulated, with a very efficient heating system, you can dramatically reduce the amount of fuel you need to keep yourself warm and comfortable in your house. Obviously that's the knock-on effect of making your fuel bills a lot cheaper as well.
Right, and how many houses, you had a weekend this September, how many houses were actually involved in that particular?
I think we had 22 houses involved.
22 houses involved, but I think you also have a fair, don't you? An eco-homes fair where different manufacturers come.
So that's right, you get to sort of meet the installer and the manufacturers at the Festival of Nature the weekend before. This year the open homes is going to be on the 15th. With the
on the 15th of
September.
15th of September, that weekend.
With the Festival of Nature the weekend before, so.
Brilliant. So this is Stroud Community Agriculture. Simon, what is Stroud Community Agriculture and why is it important in transition terms?
It's important for many reasons. It's a community-supported agriculture in which a group of people or community of people get together to fund the workings of a farmer and gardener. Each member of the community contributes a share,
right?
Each week, each month, and that share goes to support the gardener and the farmer, and they in turn will grow the veg and look after the cows and the sheep and the pigs.
And then, Nick, hi. Hello. I see you've got the Stroudco stall. Can you tell us a bit about Stroudco,
Yeah, this is Stroudco Food Hub, which is a not-for-profit social enterprise making local food affordable. We're Stroud's only not-for-profit social enterprise, with offering a wide range of local produce at below retail prices. It's a cooperative of food producers and food consumers. The producers offer their produce at below retail price but above wholesale price, so it's a good deal for everybody. And then the consumers go online and they order their produce using an internet shopping basket system. And then the produce is delivered on a Saturday morning to a school at the top of Stroud, Parliament Primary School. And the consumers either collect from the school at any time during the week, or they pay a little bit extra and have a home delivery, and it costs £1.22 to deliver to the top of Stroud. What we're trying to do is provide an alternative to supermarkets. In my opinion, supermarkets are doing a lot of damage to both the environment and our food infrastructure. They are forcing farmers to consolidate farms so that farms get bigger and bigger and bigger and become more and more monocultural. They grow just one kind of crop, which is not good for the land. It's also not good for the local food economy. What we're trying to do is re-encourage lots of small producers to produce little bits of food with mixed farms and then sell that produce as locally as possible.
And if someone has a surplus of apples for something, they can put it on Stroudco,
Yeah,
just very small.
Lots of our producers are really small scale. They're selling 2 or 3 jars of jam or just a few apples from their back garden.
So you're buying from your neighbour and you're supporting a sense of community.
You're building a local food economy that isn't dependent on oil. The other thing about the supermarket system is that it's incredibly oil dependent. We're shipping in produce from Africa and Poland, where we're exploiting those farms because they're growing for very low wages. But then we're depending on cheap oil to get the produce to us. Whereas here we've got a local food economy that is very low dependency on oil.
John, you're part of Transition Stroud and you've just been involved in the Yes project. Can you tell us a bit about what that is?
Yes, I can. Basically what we found working with schools is that the teachers don't have time to give to outside projects, and so a couple of years ago we actually raised some money and paid Marlene School to release a teacher for 3 hours a week to focus on environmental issues and an agreed agenda. And this worked well. We agreed we'd try and get all the schools together in a network. That's all the secondary schools, the special schools, referral schools and Stroud College, and we're pretty much there now, getting the schools together. And the idea is then that we would raise funds so that a teacher in each school could be released to focus on the environment, and that we could create a space in each school over a period of 3 years, and in that space the young people could explore sustainability. So the initiative is now called Youth Exploring Sustainability. And in addition to this, we've got a large number of local organisations like Gloucestershire Orchard Group, the Down to Earth Cooperative, 7Y Energy Agency and so on, which are willing to make available their resources to these schools in that exploratory process.
What's happening? What are you doing here?
Fixing bikes.
Fixing bikes?
We're just, we've got a brake here that was rubbing and not adjusted properly, so we're just all having a go together at fixing it.
Fantastic, thanks very much.
Servicing of people's bikes and talking to them about getting them to cycle more. I was involved in the Transition Stroud transport group for a little while when it was happening, and in setting up the Changing Gear project, which was involved in doing cycle training for secondary school pupils, and has now become the Back to Bike project as well, which is about getting people at businesses or just individuals, adult cyclists who want a bit of training to kind of get them back out on the road. But the main thing that I do with Transition Stroud at the moment is present the Transition Show on Stroud FM. We have a 1-hour weekly radio show where we try and get some of the people who are doing transition related or green projects in and around Stroud to come in and tell us about their project, ways that people can get involved, things they can do in their lives to transition basically. We did a Gardeners Question Time show when it was the Edible Open Gardens weekend, people from Transition sending in their gardening questions. And Rob Hopkins, the founder of Transition, we had him on a couple of weeks ago to answer people's questions about the transition movement more generally. So.
With no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.